Okay, guys, I'm so excited that y'all are on with me. I love getting to see these faces whenever I come running in and turn this on to see your commitment tonight. Let's see, literally what, 7 days before Christmas. It makes my heart happy. And so thank you for being here and really focusing on your business the week before Christmas, because I promise it will make a difference. I am excited tonight for the conversation that we are about to have with Brooke Smith. Let me tell you what I know about Brooke, and I'm going to tell you that I will be taking probably more notes than you, because this is a powerhouse mama that we are about to be talking to. The things that are very stand out to me about Brooke is, guys, I know that she has some fears, and hopefully we're going to hear it tonight, but you would never, ever, ever know it about this girl. She is confident. She is powerful. She is driven. She seems to make decisions and run with it. And if she fails, she's okay with that. She will keep moving forward and learn from that. But it doesn't break her confidence level, and it doesn't break her desire to achieve the goals that she has in front of her. Some of the things that I really want to hear from her, which I've kind of shared some things with her that I want us to hear tonight. But she kind of all of a sudden became, I think she's been driven from the very beginning. And Brooke, if I'm correct, you are under Julia Cartier's line.
That's right.
Okay, the thing that has really stood out to me is that she has always been very playful, very fun, very much in my mind a red and a blue, but she's going to tell us tonight where she stands with that, but that's what I see from afar. But something happened for her that triggered that she literally put head down and ran for Diamond. And I want us to hear some of those things tonight. I want her to be a no-nonsense Diamond leader and train us and teach us tonight. So with that, Brooke, thank you very much for giving up your time to be with us. And I'm going to hand it over to you.
Okay. Yes, you are so welcome. Yes, like she said, my name is Brooke Smith. I am a Diamond ambassador here in Alabama. So it's kind of funny, your introduction, because I was sitting on the couch with my sister today, and we were kind of talking about Christmas and all this, and we were talking about my mom's present, and she was just over here debating and all this, and she would mention something. I'm like, yeah, just buy that. And then she would mention something else, and I'm like, Jill, just buy that. And she just kept saying, you just make decisions, and you're just fine with it. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much how I do things. But yeah, I mean, she nailed me to a T. But that, I think that is definitely one of the fearless parts of my journey. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I started, a little bit of my background, a little bit about how I started, and kind of climb my way up. So April 9th, 2015, I met with Rebecca Williams, is actually my Diamond upline. She is right under Julia. So she asked me to go to lunch with her or breakfast with her. So I had messaged her previously and said, hey, tell me about what you're posting about. And she just happened to say, what do you think about the business? And y'all, I tell people all the time, don't ever shy away from that question, no matter what. She knew I was here in Hoover, a relatively big city here in Birmingham. And, I was over the cheerleaders at a big high school. And, I was pretty much, set. I was happy, didn't need much, didn't need anything. But she didn't hesitate to say, hey, what about the business? So I said, okay, I'll meet you. We'll talk. So at that time, I was teaching Algebra 2 at Trig. My husband is also a teacher. He is a head baseball coach as well. So I knew I had just had my third baby, and I was ready to take care of myself. I had just actually looked into another supplement line, and this would be my first supplement line decision. I had never taken supplements before. And I kept seeing roadblocks of, you have to give up this, you have to limit this. And I just knew with 3 kids, that just wasn't going to happen. I didn't have the time to give things up in my diet and, count this out and worry about this. So anyway, that's what led me to Plexus, was that really, I could take care of myself. So met with Rebecca. Y'all, she was like 7 months pregnant, I believe. So I was sitting there thinking, I was like, my goodness, there's no way a 7-month-old pregnant, person is going to lie to me about this. So I just asked her a million questions. I grilled her. I was like, if I'm going to do something, my mentality has always been, if I'm going to do something, I want to do it with confidence. I want to put that confidence factor behind it. So sometimes that means just doing it and faking it till I make it. But other times it means I need to know everything before I go into something. So I would ask her all these questions, and she sat there and she would be texting, and she's like, hold on, let me ask Julia. And she would do this, and I'd ask her another question. She's like, you know what? I'm not really sure. Let me ask Julia. And finally I was like, okay, who is Julia? And why do you keep asking her all of these questions? And she said to me, oh, she's my upline. And that just really gave her the opportunity to talk about how the business ran. And, I sat back and I thought, okay, so the fact that she is asking Julia all these questions, I don't have to know everything if I deliver this to other people. Y'all, that was huge for me. It was really, really kind of like a big moment for me that, okay, I can do this. I can have people to support me. I don't have to, worry. I'm all in. I'm yours. And I knew that I had the confidence factor behind it. I knew that if I said, okay, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do it right. So I started with the triplex, and about a month or so in, I had really horrible reflux before I started, so much so that the right side of my esophagus was burned, all that good stuff. I was able to find myself weaning off of my Protonics that I was on. And so I was like, oh, well, there's kind of something to this. So it started out that I was wanting to do everything just to make money and sell all this stuff. And then a light bulb went off, and I'm like, okay, if this works, I need to get this into my mom and dad's hands. My mom suffered from horrible triglyceride levels. My dad's blood pressure was horrible. Long story short, I tell people that, when they hear my story, I got really lucky because my belief shot up really quick. I saw the experience, and I was able to put it in my mom and dad's hands. And my dad, he never really took medicine. Growing up, I never remember him taking medicine. In fact, he would never really let us take medicine. It was like, you don't take a Tylenol unless you're really, really hurting, because if you do, when you hurt, you're not gonna get any better. So I was thinking to myself, okay, I'm gonna give this to my dad, and if he takes this and really just runs with it, I'm in. Like, you can't stop me. And he went and was able to, he was like one checkup away from having to get on metformin. And his doctors was like, dude, your levels are normal. And so my dad was like, oh my gosh. He called me, and he's not like a very vocal man, polar opposite for me. And I was like, all right, I'm done. If nothing else happens with this business, it has been successful for me. And it just turned to sharing in a matter of moments. So I want to challenge you guys to do a couple of things. And I'm going to continue my story for just a second. I want to challenge you to, number one, find your belief yourself. Okay. Now that's an easy thing to say and to, oh, I believe. But it takes unshakable belief to make it in this business. And I'm talking unshakable, like if your best friend came up to you and like, dude, what are you doing? Let's be honest. What are you doing? This stuff doesn't work. Like, are you serious? Like, people are making fun of you. People are like behind your back. Unshakable belief is, dude, this works, and I'm going to keep doing this. And if you don't want to watch it or you don't want to be a part of it, bye. That is unshakable belief. People can say they have belief all day long, but until the right person comes along and says, hey, this is not good, or hey, I read something negative about this, or oh my gosh, this did not work for me. I tried it for 3 days and I did not lose that 20 pounds. What's going wrong? That is shakable belief, and you don't want to have that. So you need to possess that, but you also need to have your downlines to possess that as well. And I talk to my team all the time about, look, if triplex isn't what gives you that unshakable belief, keep looking, keep searching, keep trying products, invest in your business, and find products that do move those mountains for you, or continue until you can put these products in the right hands to get the results to move those mountains for you. And again, I'll go back to, I got very lucky because it helped my reflux, and then my mom, and then my dad. Boom, I'm done. You can't stop me. So unshakable belief has to happen, has to be there. So I was teaching Algebra 2 at Trig. I had 3 kids. I have 3 kids. My husband's a head baseball coach. Now, if you know anything about high school baseball, it starts pretty much in February and it runs through about May-ish. So April the 9th was right smack dab in the middle of baseball season. So it would have been very easy for me to say, I don't have time. I don't have time. Let me get back to you after baseball season. Okay. Thank the dear Lord above, I did not do that. I saw something, I saw a chance and I just took it. So I continued teaching. I continued working, being with my kids, being a wife, and was able to just really take myself to, the level of Emerald in 12 months. And, I like to brag to people and say that it took me 3 months to go silver. 3 months. I love that. Like, to me, that's amazing. All these people now want to go silver in 2 weeks and, 3 weeks, or if you don't go silver in 2 months, oh my gosh, you're never going to make it in this business. It took me 3 months. Okay. And I tell people it's because I did it the right way. I didn't care. I told you I had that belief. Okay, well, I don't have 3 people to join me yet. That's fine. I just haven't found the right people. Okay. So it took me 3 months to go silver. But as soon as I did go silver, y'all, I ended up ranking up every other month until January. I went senior ruby. And then from there, it took me a couple of months to go emerald in April. So, going up, climbing up the ladder, I will say one of the things that I did that is not really a popular answer among a bunch of people, but it's really what I did. I buried my head and I did the work. Period. The end. If Julia Carty told me that I needed to lick this floor right here in order to advance, I did it. And I did not wait for them to tell me or to give me trainings. I went out and searched for trainings myself, and I knew myself, and I did a big kind of a self-assessment, and I said, okay, my strengths are here. My weaknesses are here. What can I do to enhance my strengths? And I would find, everything that I could train on to enhance my strengths. And some days I would work on my weakness. Okay, I'm weak in this area. What can I do to enhance that? All the while, here's an important part too. You do not let highs of this business stay highs, and you do not let lows of this business stay lows. You have to stay consistent. You have to. If you're not staying consistent and you're like all up here, like, oh, I'm the best thing in the world, I just added 10 ambassadors, like, you can't stop me. You 10 ambassadors, you go do the work. I'm done. Like, you can't do that. Lows, okay, nobody likes my post. Nobody is really saying that they love these products anymore. And, I'm not feeling it anymore. And it just doesn't really work. I'm kind of done. We can't stay there. We have to stay middle of the road. And it takes that unshakable belief to stay there. And so you can tell that I believe. I have full belief in everything. And I want the same for you guys. I want y'all to have that same belief, because I promise you, unshakable belief will take you places. I promise you. So continue on. April 2015, I went emerald. It was an amazing year. But here's where the story really begins. I actually ended up sitting at emerald from April of 2016 to May of 2017. So what is that, 13 months I stayed Emerald. Okay. And here's what happened. You work your way up and you're doing all the right things, and you've done your trainings and you've done all this, and you hit this high point, and you're like, all right, this is great. And you start recruiting all these leaders, and then it was like, okay, I'm stuck. Like, I experienced my first real oh my gosh, what am I gonna do after I hit Emerald? And I was really, I knew I was doing the work. I knew I believed in what I was doing, and I knew I was doing the work. And I had to have some moments of, okay, Brooke, you're going to make it through this. You can't stop. You can't, oh, I'm good. I'm Emerald. Like, you can't stop. And so y'all, I just challenge you, if you are in a place to where you feel stuck, or you feel like you're not moving with this business, or nobody wants to do this business with you, or any of those objections, if you bury your head, if you just find that belief, if you don't have it, you're going to come out on the other end. And I don't just say that to just give you a happy ending fairy tale. I buried my head. I worked even harder at the Emerald level when I was stuck than I did coming up to Emerald. I engulfed myself in new types of training. I invested in my team. I just did the work, but I didn't see almost a point. Like, literally for a year, probably 10 months, I sat it takes 1,500 points for Emerald. So I sat between probably 15 and 1,800 the whole year, like 300 points in a year. Like, that is like, oh my gosh, what is going on? But it was a lot of self-reflecting time. And I am very happy to say that doing the work, putting my head down, not getting, overwhelmed or anything like that, really paid off for me, because y'all, I went Sapphire in May of 2017. And then in August, just a couple months later, I went Diamond. So I felt like that it just wasn't the right time. And, that month or that year really told me so much about myself. And, I felt like that I was very one-sided with my leadership. So I am, like she said, a red and blue. And I learn by hearing things and just trying new things. But I found out really quickly that not everybody was like that. I was so confident with what I was doing that my leaders, if I told them, for example, Amanda Martini is my Emerald downline. And so I would tell her, I would say, hey, Amanda, I need you to run the power hour tonight. I have another senior Ruby, Christy Bell. Christy, hey, I need you to run power hour tonight. Just, whatever your strength is, just do it. Go, just do it. Well, Amanda finally told me, she's like, Brooke, she said, Christy picked doing the power hour while you were in Maui, so you wouldn't have to watch it, or you wouldn't be on to be able to watch it, because she was so nervous to mess up in front of you. And y'all, that whoa, that really stopped me in my tracks, because it showed me, just because that's how I am, and I just, here's the info, now go do. That does not mean that's how everybody is. So I was so thankful for that, little, I don't know, slap in the face. I don't know. But I really poured into learning about other people and learning other, we talk about the color, personality. I don't necessarily just love just talking about one color. I was very thankful to hear her say red, blue, because too often you get put in a corner of just that one color. And yes, I'm very red, but I'm also fun. I love blue. So what I'm trying to say here is, you really want to get to know your leaders. If you are counting on anybody's points under you. If you have a couple of golds that you're counting on, no matter what level they are, if you have a couple of senior golds, if you have a couple of rubies, whatever, you better get to know them. And you better invest in them. And you better not be this person up on a high perch and say, hey, y'all do this for me. I need y'all to do this. It's meet them where they're at. Learn what their strengths are. Talk to them enough. And I don't want to make y'all think that I talk like that to my team. Like, it literally was just me thinking that, hey, everybody's like that, and they're totally not. So I just want to challenge you to get to know your people. And it's so true. They're people, not points. Okay. The more you can get to know those people you are counting on, and the more you can understand their strengths and enhance that, the better off you're going to be. When I made that turn to really meet my leaders where they're at and really understand that, hey, when I give Amanda an assignment, I need to have a script with it. Or when I tell Christy to do something over here, I need to make sure that I have, I give her 10 to 15 minutes of question and answer before she does it. And beautiful things happen when you do that. When you take the time to invest in them, beautiful things happen. You start recognizing their strengths. And when you feel like you need to give something to your team, you start thinking, oh, but wait, Amanda is really good at this. I need to let them hear from her. And, one of my favorite sayings is, it's not my way. I want the best way. And if we can just run our teams like that and just understand that not everybody is going to catch on to your way. You're not going to recruit other kinds of people if you just stick to your way. So I just really challenge you to invest in people, especially those people that you are counting on to continue that rank. Because that definitely matters. I will say also, I am a math teacher, a former math teacher. I taught algebra 2 at Trig. So numbers are absolutely huge for me. I really believe that is how I was able to rank up to Emerald in 12 months. I wish you could see my notebook that I used to have. I mean, there's numbers everywhere. I would crunch numbers every single day. I knew where my points stood every single day. I knew when they were down. I knew where to look. And so I challenge you to know your numbers. Okay. And here's what I want to challenge you to do. You have right now, obviously your people, your people, your runners. I want to challenge you to go to your back office 3 times a month, minimum 3 times a month. Go to your back office, go to points and rank up, and then scroll down to the detailed genealogy and scroll all the way over to the end. And you're going to see a column that's team points. Okay. I want you to click on team points twice. So you're essentially ranking that report from high to low. Okay. I absolutely love to look at this report on the 28th of the month, because there is your organic points. Your 28th is just your organic points. That's where all of your leaders are going to be. Okay, right there, you can see. Write that down. Okay, write those points down. Have a notebook that says December 2017, points, and write that down. And then challenge your people that's on that list. Challenge them to a point increase. Too oftentimes, our people wander aimlessly through the business, and they're just, oh, well, I think I'm doing good. I added like 3 people. Yay. Like, I'm good. And then, they get to the end of the month and, they went from, 15 points to, 10 back down to 10 points, and they have no clue about that. So if you could meet that person at the first of the month and say, hey, Susie, you have 15 points, or you finished the month of December at 15 points. I noticed that you added 4 people to your team. You are rocking your team. That is amazing. I want to challenge you, out of those 4 people that you added, I really want you to pour into them, really provide customer service. And I would love to see you in the month of, January with 30 points. Do you think we can do that? If you want to talk about what that looks like throughout the month, let's do that. And then write that down beside it, point prediction, and then write down where you stand for them. And then just constantly remind them of that. Hey, it's the 15th of the month. You have 10 points. Let's really kind of push to what can we do to really get those extra 20 points out of you. Because if they have that goal in mind, they're so much more likely to reach it. And it's the same with silver ambassadors trying to go gold. I have really found here lately, growth happens. That's like a magic area right there. If you can just pour into those people, give your 80% to those people that are between silver and almost gold, magical things happen. I'm telling y'all. And a lot of that has to do with they have no clue what it takes to make it to gold. They don't. They'll tell you all day long, oh yeah, gold's 100 points. Yay, go me. But if they don't know, I found too many times that they would come up to the 28th of the month and they'd be like, hey, Brooke, I've got 95 points. I think I can go gold, and they're just realizing this at the 28th of the month. Well, if we write their points down and we challenge them, they are aware of their points day one. They have 30 days to make that goal of gold happen instead of 2 days to make it happen. Does that make sense? So I can promise you, if you are wanting to grow, the best thing that you can do is enhance those silvers to almost gold right there. I found out that I call them my silver stars, and I devote 80% of my time to them. And I have found that not only has growth happened with them, but their growth has lit a fire under what I call my elite group, which are my leaders. For a period of time, I was going straight to my elite. Okay, elite, I need you to deliver this information, and you take care of your people, and you do this. And then it was like a light bulb went off. I'm like, but why can't Silver Stars hear from me? Why can't their team hear from me too? And I'm not cutting my legs out from the legs out from under my leaders. I'm giving a system that also creates duplication. So without going more into detail about what I do, I just want to challenge you a couple of things. Number one, find unshakable belief. Okay. Instill unshakable belief into your downlines. The number one way you can do that is make sure they are trained on customer service, and always have your downline ask your people when they're checking in on them, what do you love about Plexus? Tell me one positive thing before we even start this check-in process. And just starting with that question just really kind of takes the pressure off of the ambassador, and they're able to have more of a conversation. Unshakable belief. It has to happen. Number two, you really, really, really want to make sure that you put your head down and y'all do the work, okay? Don't wait for somebody to come and train you. Oh, well, I don't know how to count points. Nobody's shown me how to do that yet. Well, go figure it out yourself, okay? Go find a training and go figure out yourself. That way you can present questions to your upline rather than saying, hey, train me. Ask them questions. So put your head down, do the work, stay consistent. Remember, let's not let highs be highs too long. Let's not let lows be lows too long. Middle of the road is where that magic happens. Our mindset has to stay right here. If we've got the belief behind it, we're fine with staying right here, okay? And then know your goals, know your targets, know points. Points are huge. You don't have to be a math person to know your points, to go to the back office, to sort that report, to write your leaders' points down, to duplicate that down, guys. You don't have to do all the work. You can take your 5 senior golds and golds and then say, okay, Sally, Jimmy, Melissa, Michelle, I need you guys to go in your back office and just train them to do the exact same thing. And that way you are essentially doubling your efforts. Okay. But know the points, make sure your people know how to go gold, embrace that group that's right there, because I'm telling you, when a fire gets lit under them and they start experiencing these 5, 10, 15-point wins, it's great things happen. So that's all I have for you guys. I'm a talker, so I could literally talk all day. I hope I didn't talk too much. But I would definitely love for you guys to ask questions if you wanted to. I would love to answer them for you.
Hey, thank you so much. Your passion is like through the roof, which I absolutely love, and your energy level. And I'm going to pat myself on the back for that red blue. See, I
yes,
didn't I?
You pegged it.
I have a question, and then I would love anybody else, but I'll get us started. So if you have a question through this of taking notes, make sure that you ask it while we have her available. But I want to go all the way up to the front. Whenever you sat down and met with Rebecca and y'all had breakfast, did Rebecca invite you to breakfast, and did you know in that process that y'all would be talking places, or had y'all been friends? Tell me how that whole thing happened for you.
Okay, so she and I knew each other from college, so we were friends on Facebook. We didn't really keep up with each other. In fact, when I messaged her asking her about Plexus, she, I guess, went back and looked at my profile. She's like, "Oh my goodness, you're in Birmingham here with me," and I was like, "Yeah." And she said, "Okay." She said, "Well, have you ever considered the business part of it?" And again, I told her no, and she said, "Well, let's meet for breakfast and let me tell you all about it." So the meeting was essentially a Plexus crash course. I had not made my mind up yet that I was going to join. What did it was really that she just went in there and did not have all the answers. And I know that sounds crazy, but I just felt really confident knowing that I didn't have to know all the answers either. So that was kind of a winner for me.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing to me. Okay.
And the fact that Rebecca really bragged on her upline and the way this process works, I don't think we ever find enough time to talk about the support system of this business as well. And the fact that she was able to say that was in that first meeting was really huge.
It is. And I think that that's one thing that makes us so unbelievably unique, is the way that we do what we do and the community that we have. I think it sets us at a whole different level than anybody else. And we have to take advantage of it. Like, we have to share that.
That's right. And three-way messages are, if you're not doing three-way messages with your upline, start doing them right now.
Absolutely.
Make sure that you put your person, yourself, and your upline, and refer to your upline as a friend, not upline, because nobody knows what that means. And definitely, what I tell my team is make sure that you put in there, she loves these products, wanting to get them for the cheaper price, or business, kind of cue me into knowing how to lead this conversation. Because y'all, when y'all can make this real and just introduce it to them to someone else that's successful or working this business, it just like breaks down those barriers of network marketing vibes that we know everybody has that are negative. So
I love that. Anybody else? This is your chance to ask any questions, whether she talked through it or if it's something that you've been wondering about that you want to be answered. Either way, I want you to bring it up now.
Yes. All ears. No questions off the table.
I'll ask a question.
Okay.
Hi, Brooke. Thank you very much. I loved everything you were saying. I was getting like crazy. Okay, so over what you told us about your story and everything, was there any time that you felt like, life got in the way? Like something happened, a big event, a big, family event, a big something that just you felt like it was an obstacle that was really big? And if so, how did you work through it? Or what do you tell your team about those things? Like, how do you handle those things?
Well, okay, so a couple of things. So I personally have not had that just big, just, life altering moment, but Rebecca, my upline, has. Like I said, when we met, she was 7 months pregnant, and her dad, she found out the month that I signed up, I believe, that her dad was dying of cancer. And so she was pregnant with her third that they did not plan. She tells everybody, her dad was dying. She literally was at his bedside for, 2 months straight. And, I think one of the biggest things was that I go back to that support system. She tells people all the time, I was sitting there dying or watching my dad die, and I would get texts I would text her and say, I had an ambassador today. And she said that would just do so much for me. She said it just kept me going. So, I challenge you to not necessarily look at this business as a burden when times get rough, but to view it as part of your life. She said that she was able to, take that text and show it to her dad and say, look what I'm doing, and they were able to talk about it during this time. And, that just really molded our relationship. So had she not shared that with me, we would not be as close as we are now. And we definitely went through that time together. So I just challenge you that, if you are going through something, don't look at Plexus and this business as something to stop you from that. Look at it as something that can complement, what is going on in your life, whether it's rallying around your team to help, support you, or whatever it may be. Just look at it as a blessing that it is, and just keep going. Find your time. And on a different side note, I had an accountability call last night with my team, and I said, guys, this week is all about family. This week is about your shareholders. It's Christmas. I want you to show your shareholders that you are value the time with them. So I want them to see you, up and active with them. Don't be on your phone. Don't be behind a computer working nonstop. Be with them. Be present. So if you allow yourself the time to respect your shareholder time, but also allow your Plexus to be part of your life, rough times can really be a little bit better.
That's amazing.
Yes.
I like that.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Hi, Brooke.
Hey.
Thanks for coming on. You mentioned power hours, and we've been doing it with Back Team. Is that something that you do? It sounds like you do it nightly.
No, I do them every Sunday night. I'll say something that kind of goes along with that. When I was working my way up and still working and still teaching Algebra 2 with my 3 kids, I couldn't do the traditional, message 20 people or message 10 people a day, post 3 times. And I couldn't do that traditionally. I knew myself, and I knew that if I didn't prep beforehand, then I would let my week go. So I would always spend Sunday nights. I would spend Sunday morning with my family at church. Sunday afternoon was my family time. That's non-negotiable. But when Sunday night hit, I was at my desk. I had my calendar ready to go. I would take my list of 100, and I would get through 30, 40 of those names. I would turn right around. I would expand my network. I would add those names to the bottom of the list of 100. I would buffer my post. I would have a schedule that I made sure that I kind of differentiated all of my posts. And then I would do my follow-up for the week. And if nothing else happened during the week, my work was done. Mm-hmm. If I couldn't get to anything, my work is done. So my team that would tell me, I just don't have time. Yes, you do. You're just not allotting it the right way.
Okay. Thank you. That's good.
You're welcome.
If you truly do all of that on a Sunday night, whether you had a schedule like you do at that time or not, that totally sets you up for success the rest of the week because you front loaded your week.
Absolutely. And it took the busy work out of my week, and it really allowed me to be more available to questions and messages. And I was able to, instead of being so incredibly busy from working all day, coming home and trying to get the grind of my work done, and then cooking supper, and then now I finally have some time, I don't feel like responding to this message. It took all that away because I would work, and then, on my drive home, I would have a couple of messages. Oh, okay, I'll respond to them. And I was able to respond, and it just really opened me up to be less resentful to the grind work that is necessary.
So you did your 100-person list, you added to your list, you did your buffer post, and you did your follow-up. So on a Sunday night, was that 2 or 3 hours on a Sunday night?
Yes, it was. And I will say that on the first of every month, the first Sunday of every single month, I would always take my customer list and my wholesale list of my level ones, and I would make my follow-up and my check-ins basically for the month. So like if I have a customer that, her order goes out on January the 14th, on that first Sunday of the month, I would write down, let's say probably on the 10th, check in with Susie, all that good stuff, so that I knew when I sat down at my desk to work on that Sunday night, I would scan my calendar all the way across Monday through Saturday, and those were the people that I needed to contact. There was no guessing game. There was no, let me sit at my computer and look at a customer list and report all, night long.
You set it all up ahead of time.
Mm-hmm. Yes. It's about planning. It's about planning. It's about fitting this business into your life, not letting this business consume your life. But you can't have both if you don't plan for both. Yeah. If you don't find what works for you, and I can sit here and train all day long on what that looks like for me, but that might not be the same thing for you. So it's all about caring enough and wanting to advance enough to find what works for you and stick with it.
Okay, so tell me about your customer list and your level 1 ambassador list. On the day that their order went out is the day that you would contact them, or if it went out on the 14th, you'd contact them on the 10th?
Yeah, I would write their name down on the 10th on my calendar. Yeah. And then like if, whatever that may be, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But when I sat down on that Sunday before, I would scan the week and look, and I would see that, okay, on the 10th, I need to contact Susie. So I would get out and I would contact her. Yeah. It was just it was a way, I could have written it all down on that, on the third Sunday or whatever, but it just kind of helped me visually kind of know what to do and when to do it. And, if I happen to have a Sunday where I was, at a party or something and I couldn't come home and work, then I would move it to Monday night, mm-hmm. but it would get done.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. That's just a great, unique, different way. I love how you said you fit it into your life and your world. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Yeah. Anybody else? Oh, Christina.
What does expanding your network look like to you?
Well, that has certainly evolved. Like, it's been a work in progress. That is a huge piece to this business, is expanding your network. To me, that looks like, making sure that you are on groups that you have certain interests with. Let's see, for example, math teachers, maybe a math teacher group. I would join that group, and I would make sure that I was, present in that group. And, I think I did, I think one time I commented something and somebody said, well, I would love to see a video of you doing that. And I would say, okay, my Facebook is public. Just go ahead and follow me and you can see it. Just not throwing up plexus on people. Also, when you're out, one of the biggest things that I love to do is when I meet people, I cannot stand to sit still. Like, I love to meet people and to talk to people. And I love to say, well, hey, tell me what your Facebook name is. I'm going to friend you. I want to follow you. Your life looks so much fun. Something like that. And when they give you your name, boom, you're now connected. So it's just all about finding different ways to really attract people to maybe your social media, whatever it may be. But, that's not the only piece of it. If you're not strategic about your posting, and if you don't have a brand, and if you're not mixing Plexus into your world, you're just throwing up Plexus on your Facebook, then that's not going to help. Doing that means nothing. So you really just want to make sure that, anytime you put out quality posts, or anytime you think about anything that you want to post about, always have the mentality that, number one, new people are joining your Facebook every day. If you're expanding your network, that's the way it should be. So, you always want to be training about our products. But number two, you have to understand that by now, a lot of people have heard about Plexus. What separates you? What makes you different? If there's a lineup of 10 people standing in front of this potential, what is going to make you stand out? Whether it's a brand that you attach yourself to that person can relate to, or, anything like that. Just make sure that you not only expand and bring those people in, but you also put the quality of work behind it to make sure you really seal the deal.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Brooke, did you ever have a problem with self-confidence or anything? I don't see that in you, but was that any time one of your struggles?
I'm a huge perfectionist. I'm very, very competitive, and I was that moment of sitting at Emerald, that really bothered me. It bothered my competitive soul. It was, and I'm not competitive with other people, like, oh girl, I'm going to bring you down. It's with myself. Mm-hmm. And so not advancing and not ranking and sitting still, yes, that shook me real quick. But you learn so much more from those moments than if you were to just keep going. So when you have those shakeable moments, they will not mean anything. They'll actually make things worse if you don't have a learning experience from them. So I'm extremely thankful that I had that time, because it allowed me to self-reflect and reflect on my team. So I tell people all the time, I welcome those moments, because I'll learn something to make myself better.
Okay. Remind me, on that 13 months, looking back on it now, which 13 months is nothing. I mean,
no, it
really isn't. But because of how you grew prior to that and how you grew on the other side of that, looking back on that, what do you think you had to adjust about yourself to be able to get past that and move to Sapphire and Diamond? What was it? I know timing is everything. I know, bringing team together and the momentum, but what was it about you? If you did self-reflection, what had to adjust about you during that time?
I spent the majority of my time with like-minded people like myself. Mm-hmm. I saw in my team, I really targeted the ones that were like me, because, hey, if I was successful, then I'm going to enhance them, and they're going to be successful too, because they're like me. Mm-hmm. And that's where I went wrong. I didn't embrace and dive into the people and enhance the people. I didn't better myself to better my leaders. And that's what I was telling you guys about the silver to gold thing. If you could really just get to that group and get to know that group and enhance that group, honestly, the sky's the limit. So I would definitely say that I was basically one-sided with my leadership.
Okay, that makes sense now that okay, perfect. Okay, anybody else? One last question. This is good stuff. Okay.
Well, and I'll tell you guys, coming on this call, you guys, I mean, that shows a lot right there. And I always love for my team to go this extra mile. And you can listen to trainings and you can write notes and you can, do all this all day long. But until you tell yourself, you know what, I believe I can do this. If I put my head down and I really have this belief and I stay consistent and I just do the work, I can do this. So now that I've convinced myself that I can do this, I'm going to make a plan and I'm going to put this plan into motion. And, you know, I'm going to tell myself, I'm going to give myself 4 months or whatever, however many months to do this. And I'm not going to stop while I do it. So I just challenge you to just have belief in yourself. You know, you can do this. You are here for a reason. God put you right here for a reason. Enhance that. Don't just say, oh, well, all right, he put me here. Here we go. Enhance that. Do the work behind it. Plan it out. Get with your shareholders. Let them know what you're doing. Allow everybody to rally around you instead of trying to hide this business from your life. Let this business be a part of your life. And I promise you, you can do this.
That's a great, great word to end with. That was good stuff. Okay. Thank you. You're amazing.
You're so welcome.
I hope you have a very...
Sorry I look like this, by the way. I probably should have told y'all. Like, I've just been going crazy all day today. So please excuse
You look amazing.
I didn't dress up, so I'm sorry.
No, it's great. And guys, thank you so much for being on the call. Y'all are rock stars. See y'all later.